Welcome back to a very basic space program. It is episode 22 and we have a mission. We've got some money to spend, but we have to try and orbit the moon. So yeah, that's going to be interesting with our rocket, so please join me. Okay, so we have accepted the Lunar Orbiter contract. We also still have, and I'm just looking at this, we've got up to 5 contracts we can have. We've still got the Lunar Impactor, which we could actually just throw up as well. Gets us some science as well, which is quite nice. We do have Lunar Landing. We're not quite ready for that. We've also got the past the Kármán line. We also have the reach orbital speed and return safely, and I think that's going to be important for us to get so that we can actually open some more stuff up. So it's going to be interesting. This episode we're going to try and do the orbit of the moon. If we manage that, the next episode is pretty open because I'm looking at this reach orbital speed and return safely and the advanced biological science, because that's a nice little add-on that we could do potentially. So I'll have to have a think about that. That could be we could maybe do that to work up to that or something, and we'll have to think about that. The advanced biological science is quite a nice one, but you don't get much science from it because the advanced biological capsule actually needs to be in orbit for a reasonable amount of time. I think it's like hours instead of minutes. So anyway, let's go and see what we can do about getting into orbit of the moon. So here we are in the VAB. I'm not going to show you the building of this because for some reason this craft has become a little bit jerky on the screen. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it was when we were going probably a couple of episodes ago it started to get a bit jerky because I've updated something in KSP RP-1, whatever, because I'm trying to keep this save sort of reasonably up to date. And I think we're getting a few little errors thrown up. So what I will actually have to do is probably rebuild this craft from the ground up, take the scaling and the size and do it again just to see what we get, because I think there's something obviously being a bit annoying. But you can see we've taken our Javelin craft and I have strapped on some caster boosters to give it a bit of a boost at the start there. This craft now goes up to 83 tons, so it's using some of that 150 ton pad. We've got the caster boosters on the side. We've got, I think, 6 of them there, and they're going to fire off. So if you actually look, we actually fire our main engine, our vernier engine. Then as we decouple from the launch stands, we fire up these solids. With the idea being that we don't want the solids burning until we have to. And also we actually do have the thrust to get just off the pad. I think it will basically drop a little bit. But anyway, as soon as these ignite, it should give us some thrust upwards. So the big thing though, we've kept the rest of the craft pretty much the same. At the top here, let's zoom in a little bit to that. You can see we've got a new little craft, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. Let's just bin that. So, it's jittery. So, what have we got? Well, first of all, we have a little solid engine there that's going to fire. That's going to give us a bit of a boost. It's going to get us going, get us moving as quickly as possible. That's then going to decouple. We actually have in here a little tiny decoupler. We could try and grab it. There we go. Get rid of the decoupler. And then that is going to be basically augmented by this stage here, which is a hollow tank with a little aerobee in it. And I know it's maybe a little cheaty. I don't know. I imagine this is just a set of tanks because we're still only using integral tanks there. We're not using like balloon tanks or anything like that. And we've got a little aerobee engine in there, I believe. Let's just go and check. I think we've got the uprated one. Let's have a look. Hello, how are we? We are the AJ 1027, so that's in there. And then following that, that's going to fire. That should send us on our way to the moon pretty much. But we then have this little bumper here. Okay, this little bit here. This little bit here, its job is entirely to... Oh, we've got an extra little decoupler there. That's interesting. I wonder what's happening there. This one's job is entirely... Oh, I remember. This one's job is entirely to finish off that burn. It's using the same idea we used in the past with a little bit of RCS on an engine, which means we're not directionally controllable. All of this should hopefully be in a bit of a slight tumble. It should allow us to just perfect the interaction there. And then that will be left, discarded, to leave this. Okay? Now this is an interesting one. We have an outer tube and an inner tube. That sounds like a car tire. The outer tube here is basically It is near Earth avionics. It's got a bit of weight control. It's got some, we don't have space, deep space avionics yet, so we haven't used near space avionics. It's got RCS on the side, okay, just 2 ports, and its job is entirely to reorientate this craft. It's going to take this craft and orientate it in the correct orientation for when it's going to go get to the moon. Now, I don't know if this is going to work. I've never done this before, so we're going to try this. It will then orientate it in the correct orientation for the moon, and then it will decouple, and it will leave the top craft here, which you have seen before. This is very much the same as the top craft we've sent before, and this, hopefully, if it's aligned properly as it hits the moon, we can arm that RCS engine, fire it with the throttle, because we can't have any directional control, we just have on or off, and that should pull us into hopefully orbit. Now, we could have used some solid motors, right? I will be honest, we could actually have used let's have a look, use some of these spin motors, and I actually looked at using pretty much entirely solids for this whole process, and you can do it. You can basically put solids here, there, and everywhere, and a little bit of RCS in place, and you should be fine. But that's the way we're going to go for it. So we're going to build that and launch it. So let me just go and set it up to build, and then we'll look at some other stuff we've got to do. So while that's building, we've got Lunar 6 building there. We also have Lunar 5, by the way. Lunar 5 is basically Lunar 4. It's a duplicate of Lunar 4, so that's just going to sit there until we need to do the impactor mission. It takes 90 days. I might make a duplicate of that just in case, but Lunar 6 is our orbiter. Lunar 7 is a copy of that orbiter. If this goes well, we'll launch Lunar 7 to do the second orbital mission, but we'll see that in the future. So, upgrades. We have upgrade points. What do I want to do? Well, first of all, let's actually look what we're doing. We've got a range of tech, but actually it's not going to take long to do a lot of this. We're actually not doing too badly. Human materials, crude survivability. Can we get, because we've now got this built, let's have a look. Can we get capsules? We can get basic capsules. That is wonderful. So we'll get the basic capsules. That's good. And we've got 15 left. So I think let's have a look. I think I want to go for more avionics. I want to really push the we want to get this deep space avionics, because then we can do some more stuff. We're 0.1 science away, so we should get that next time. So upgrade points, let's have a look. Tech is taking, let's see, move basic capsules up. So basic capsules is what, it's going to be a while. It's going to be over a year, so I don't like that. I don't like that it's going to take so long. Our build means we're going to be able to launch 3 or 4 of these rockets before basic capsules is even ready. So we're going to put some points into R&D. And you can see our R&D is actually only 38, our BAB is 34. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend some money. We're going to spend a bit of cash, and I'm actually going to take it down to, to 200, because I'm going to go and get some more contracts, so we'll maybe come back here. I'm going to take our R&D up to, let's take it up to 50, and then take the VAB up just a little bit, just to keep it within track. And then let's have a look at these missions. Now, we're going to have to do this one at some point, and it gives us a year to do that. I want to get the moon ones done. The impactor, we get 2 years, so we'll put the impactor in, because we've done 1. We need to do at least 2 more. We could throw this together. We'll have to think about that. What I really like is I'm starting to get to the point where I'm thinking we need multiple VABs. I think we need to upgrade the VAB. Past the Kerbal line crude. I need to check the dates, because I don't think we're going to do that. We could actually just stick the capsule onto something basic to do that, and that will break that, which would be quite nice. So maybe we will do that, but we'll need to have a look at it, because the other thing is we don't have crew for that. We'll have to come into that later. So we've got a bit more cash. How much is this? This is going to cost us, to get up to our next level, is 500. What about the VAB? VAB is a big expense, but it would give us an extra queue, and then that makes it a lot quicker for doing extra building. So I think that's a possibility. We have a 150. Do I want to start building? Let's have a look. Do I want to start building a new pad? Because we could go for this one. It would take 2 years to build this pad, and it's going to cost us all of our money, so we can't afford it. But maybe after this mission we look at that. So it's going to be about an additional pad, that's going to go big. Now the question is, do I go really big and just go for the 700 tons and use that? I do like the progression normally, but you can afford to miss them out, particularly if you're going to do like a Russian engine playthrough. You might want to go straight to 350 instead of putting 150 and 60 tons in there, or vice versa. Right. So I think that's us done for now. Let us have a look at how our tech's doing now. So that's dropped down to 1, 2, 3. 350, 350, 450 days, which is a year and a half. Plus build time, yeah, it's going to be a bit tight to do a Kerbal line sort of rocket. But if we took our first, that's an interesting idea. If we took our first stage from here and just strapped a Mercury capsule on top of it, that is a possibility. So let's actually take no, because the capsule costs a lot of money. Let's wait. This is not a speedy playthrough. This is us, taking our time, being safe in this playthrough. If you would like to see me go as fast as possible through one of these, something is coming up you may enjoy. Anyway, I'm going to rush forward to Lunar 6 being ready, and then we can launch it and see what happens. So join me in about 107 days unless something really interesting happens. Right, so here we are ready to go. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting launch because we're going to have an awful lot of thrust for the first sort of, I want to say 25 seconds, 20 seconds. It's going to be a lot of thrust, so I'm not sure on the launch profile for this one. We could do something else with it, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to launch in a few seconds. We're going to fire the main engines and the vernier engine first. Once they get up to speed, then we'll basically fire up the solids and detach the launch clamps and everything. In reality, what we should probably do is actually detach the first launch clamp when we set these engines off, but we don't. We'll just launch them all at the same time. My major concern is the decoupling of these. I wonder whether I should have put little motors inside them or something. I don't know, to push them further away. It's always a concern with casters. So we're ready. Let's go. Main engines are on. Get the thrust up so they're started, and fire. Oh, and we are off quite literally like a rocket. Right, I'm actually going to start us turning now because I think we need to get a bit of a turn on. We need to get the turn going. Right, currently the casters are all running well, but if one of them has a problem, that's going to be fun for us, isn't it? So we're going to just keep turning. We need to get moving through the old atmosphere. Come on, here we go. Come on, we've got casters are starting to slow down their burns. That's good. So we can actually be ready to decouple them when we have that. Let's go decouple. They've gone. Ooh, yeah, they've hit each other. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Our roll is not pretty, and our roll control, you can see our little vernier fighting there to get control. And should it be 0 actually? Should I have it on 0? I can't remember. Maybe we'll just not bother with that. We'll not bother with fighting the roll, and we'll just start pitching over there a little bit. All right, our apops is getting up there. This is good. The reason we've got the casters primarily is to make this engine sort of have. We want to get more use from our engine for the weight of it. The casters are just there to push us up. We could actually go for fewer casters, and we should be more than easy to get this into orbit. I think it's about 1 ton on the top of this, which to me means with the casters and everything, we could probably put crude capsules on top of here and it would be tight, but I think it would be orbital. I'd have to look at it. It would be quite interesting little design philosophy there. Instead of using the Atlas type designs, we would actually use basically a Russian Thor combo type thing, Delta, which is interesting, isn't it? I mean, Atlas has always been the manned preferable versions of stuff, and we're getting a lot of sort of artifacts showing up there. I do think we may have to look at rebuilding this craft because it's getting a lot of visual glitchy artifacts now, which is interesting. Actually, we're going to turn right over there because I'm not too worried about what's going on. Get a little picture. We've got a long way to go now. We've got 50 seconds on this stage. We're going to get a vast amount of sort of thrust from this stage, so we can really use it. Relative inclination is going down. Obviously that's going to keep going down, and this launch profile is going to take a while. It's got quite a long burn time on it, this whole craft. I do not like the caster caster attachments there. I think they're actually quite heavy as well, so we may swap those out for some of the generic ones. But yeah, I thought we'd try them because they look cool on the casters, but we may have to think about whether that's actually what we want a long term for this craft. What we can do is we can get rid of that payload fairing. There we go. And there's a lot of Z fighting and just general horrible little artifacting going on up here. It's not particularly nice. It's always very juddery. It's as though there's multiple versions of the craft visualizing or something. I don't know. Right. Set off this engine. Are we getting any better? Let's actually have a look at this. Yeah, look. There's all sorts of little artifacts. Now, I have updated a load of things. So I wonder whether that's part of it. Maybe I need to redo the install or something. Yeah, maybe it's Eve, or if it's Scatter or something like that. It's playing funny, but that's odd. It's very interesting. Right. So what altitude do we want to be at? We want to be probably at about 170, 180. That gives us a reasonable sort of bang for our buck. We've got decent time to apoaps. It's just going to be a bit of a take your time now, isn't it? We do have the RCS on this that can help us position. Our relative inclination is closing in. We don't need to be massively on target for this, because what we're actually looking at is, because of the fact that we have this orientation control here, we can actually deal with, you know, polar, non-polar, all that sort of stuff with this craft, and particularly with the RCS controls and things like that, it should be okay. So we'll have to think, maybe polar would be better actually. We'd always ensure we'd have signal then, so that's an idea. You will notice I have not put solar panels on this. That's one thing I didn't do. I was tempted to. Oh, there's the remnants of our craft. I was tempted to do that, but I don't think that, you know, we're just going to complete the mission. We want to send communications and all sorts to the moon in the future, so what we'll probably look at is sending something up that's got the ability to act as a relay. We don't, I think, have the tech for that at the moment, and also can actually do some science, probably in polar orbit, and act as a relay would be very good. Maybe a cluster of them, just a whole shard of different transmitters with solar panels. Our solar tech is not great at the moment either, so there's that aspect is there, and I'm aware of it. So we're just going up, and you know, I've actually just left it on 5 degrees here, and yeah, it seems to be going up okay. So we may hit 170, we may not, I don't know. Should I be tempted to do more? I don't know. What I will do is just physical time up a little bit, because this launch could take a while. You know, it's let's see, 4 minutes 5 seconds. So this is, you know, an 8-minute to orbit rocket, which is a nice speed actually. I'm just looking at this. I need to check what the max thruster weight of that first stage was, first stage and a half, or whatever we want to call it, because of course when you're using crew you don't want too much of that. So this craft might be okay for that. We're actually starting to drop now, so what I should do is we'll just put this up, and you can see I've got a vertical speed on the bottom left, which I'm actually now using for, there we go, we can actually see we're now gaining up a bit there, and that's what we want. We want to actually be in positive or 0. 0 is perfect. If you get the 0 on this, absolutely perfect. So we're going to gain a bit more now. As long as we don't drop below sort of 150, I'm okay. I'm not too worried about the rest of it. So that means that basically this time here, time to between our current time and apoaps is getting closer, in fact. And you can see we're about to hit a positive. So what I can actually start doing is pull this down to about 5 again. Put it to there, and there we go. Ooh, that's a terrible launch profile, isn't it? Now, interestingly, 200 meters per second. We probably have about 300 meters per second extra on this craft. That's a terrible launch profile though. We've gone really sort of asymmetric. Oh, that's horrible. Anyway, let's have a look. That was absolutely nightmare. I'm going to plot for the moon, and I will see you in but a moment. You can still see these little graphical glitches. Anybody got any idea why I've got these graphical glitches after upgrading? I may have to re-undo like the express install, which I haven't used yet. I haven't used the express install, just to see if I can get rid of this to go and get rid of this this issue. So I will see you once I've got my maneuver nodes in place. I have put a maneuver node in, and let's actually have a look. How much is it going to cost me to actually capture? Because I need my apoapsis to be below 5,000, which is going to be, what about there? About there. Yeah, right. So I need to know that my stage my second stage actually has that. So this is going to be about 300 and something. I think we have that. If I don't, oh dear, but we should have about 400 on it, I think. Whether it can put it out quickly is another thing entirely, but we will find that out, I suppose. It is on that side there. I wonder whether we could pull it round and have it come in this way would be better. So let's try that. Let's have a look. So this is let's close this one. So we tap on there, tap there, and close it. Right. So that's coming in that way, and that should slow it down actually. Let's have a look. What's that actually do to it? It actually pulls it into an interplanetary orbit. Well, that's not what I was hoping for. Let's have a look. So if we just go the other way, a few clicks on the mouse there, just pull it around. You can see, yeah, this one going this way would actually be potentially better. So what's this going to do? Let's see. This is one of those things where it's interesting. Do I go with the direction of, you know, prograde, retrograde, all that sort of stuff? So Adam and we're currently locked. Oh, that's annoying. Right, I am going to move forward until we get a signal, because we've got about 30 minutes before we need to worry about this. And I will then set this up and have a look at it as well. So let's get going. Right, there we go. So we've now got signal. We've got 25 minutes until we do anything. So let's add this maneuver. What's this doing for us? Right. So again, we want to be below 5,000. That's about there. Right, now what's this one going to cost me? Let's have a look. This one is going to cost me more. So I want the other one. Right, we want to come along the top. So that's what I thought. So we're actually getting accelerated. We're getting a bit of a pull from the moon, which is actually going to pull us, yeah, there you go, into a nice sort of interplanetary, it's not interplanetary, but yeah, well, it is an interplanetary profile. Basically, we're getting a gravity assist right now. We don't want that. We want it to pull us down. We want it to pull us backwards into the orbit. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll go back to here, and we will just tap this on. So we're putting a little bit of more energy in. You can see we're putting, you know, 2, 3, 4 points of everything. We'll probably put 1 meter per second extra in, but what we're actually getting out of it is the ability to slow down quicker. Now we have to remember our perip's got to be over 20. That is over 20. That's okay. In fact, yeah, that's really nice actually. That's a nice altitude. If I can get to that, I'd be very happy because that'd be a nice catch. I'm gonna assume that we can actually fire the RCS while we're on the far side. If we can't, that's a problem, and I'm gonna be annoyed about that. But I think that's what we're gonna go for. So let us time warp to that point, which I will do, and this is still glitchy visual. So I don't know if that's because these were made in a previous sort of version type thing or what. That's really, any comments? Oh, that's horrible. I wonder whether it's the when you get close, it's not so bad. I wonder whether it's the decals. That could be it actually. So we'll maybe try. I'll maybe have a look at off camera. Have a look at the rockets without the decals, because that's not rendering particularly nicely. Although this tank is not rendering particularly nicely from a distance. It's interesting. Right, I'm going to line this up, and then I will see you as we are about to depart. We are coming out of our little time warp. We're on the dark side of the planet because, well, we always are, aren't we, when we do anything like this? Because why would I want to make it easy for you to see what we're doing? And of course, this little unit here looks black because there's no reflection on it. The rest of it's got a little bit of ambient lighting going on. So we do have signal. We're just orientating now on the node. What we will do is we will then also start a little spin. I want to get a little spin going. So we want to actually try and sort of spin stabilize this stage as much as possible, because I am a little concerned that it will divert, and that diversion might take us beyond, because of the fact that we've got a pretty rubbish intercept that I've actually done a pretty poor launch. We're having to use a little bit of extra delta V to actually carry out this. We're not getting as much bang for our buck. So what we're going to do is turn the that off now. Right, so it's now going to be spin stabilized, and we're ready to pretty much go. So I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to fire it. There we go. Right, we're ready. Need to put thrust up. Right, so this is going to burn out. Hopefully it's going to give us a nice big kick. I'd really like it to give us most of its delta V. If it gives us most of its delta V, I'm happy. I need it to be, you know, within maybe 50. Be within 50 would be really nice. If it was within 50. It's going to be better. Yes, good. Give me as much as you can. I want every tiny little drop of delta V out of you, because this is going to be tight, I believe, partly because of my bad orbital piloting. So now we're going to fire the next stage. Now obviously this is an interesting tank design. I'm going to assume that actually what we could have done is fluted this inner section here, and then put ablative material on here. This tank is ablative, obviously. That's why it's this croggly colour. Or we just funnel it. I don't know. We just have a really large nozzle. I don't know. We just position the nozzle further down. I thought it looked cool, but actually looking at it now, it maybe isn't as cool as the way the. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting little interplay with the tank and the engine there. Interesting approach. So we can see we're going to be about, I want to say 120, 100 off. So what we'll do is we'll then decouple and we'll have that middle, this next stage actually doing the rest of this. Yeah, we're going to be not too bad actually. We're pretty stable. This is actually not a bad spin. I thought we were going to lose a lot of our accuracy on our spin, but just because of, you know, things being thrown in. Right, 150. So we're going to fire that, and that's now going to do it for us. And this is a slow push. So what we'll do is we'll actually put a bit of physical time warp on. Can I do physical time warp? Can I have a little bit of physical time? Thank you very much. Right. When we get to sort of near the end, we'll go and have a look on the map view. But you can see we're already diverging a little bit, primarily from our program marker, because we're taking time, but also we've got a little bit of wobble from our actual node. So we could actually put it on the node. It doesn't do anything because we're not using these side things. We could actually, because I believe this has capacity to do this. We could. I think it probably will have the ability to control it. I'm not sure. I may have skimped on that a little bit as well. So let's actually have a look. What do we got? We've got a bit of fuel left. Yeah, this is going to be fine. This should be an interaction, and we'll just look out in the map view. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to focus the view here because I want to see what's happening. And then we're going to slow down about now. Yeah, right. We want to go around the other side. So we'll just ready to cut now, and then we're going to do a little bit of. There we go. What's this doing? Oh, we need a bit more. There we go. Oh, that's a little bit more than I would have liked. Ah, well, get rid of that. Can't unlock the node right now because, of course, we can't. So what we'll do is I'm going to basically I will decouple this section here, and I'll time warp to a point where we actually have signal, and then I'll show you the next step. Right, we are now at a point where we have some signal, so we can actually do this next maneuver. So we're going to just do this because we want to position the craft in such a way. There we go. And we're going to put the RCS on. We're at node. There we go. So this should now be bringing us round, and let's have a look. Is it affecting our periaps at all? Not quite yet. Oh, it's doing something. Ooh, that's not pretty. So we'll do that, let it bring itself back. And then what we will actually do is we'll do a little bit of management of this. We want to bring this down a little bit into a nice position. There we go. Right, so now we're roughly where we want to be. We're going to bring this down to about here. I'm going to turn that node off, and then we're going to add a new node and do that because we're actually on node with Smart SAS, which is always fun. Right, so now we're on node again. What's it doing to my node now? Oh, it's moving it around. Okay, it's holding. It should be holding. So we need it to settle a little bit. So it's going to be doing all sorts of interesting stuff. Right. So next step, we're going to spin this up, then we'll decouple, and then we'll time warp. So let's get this going. We're going to spin this up. while it's still on node. There we go. So this is now facing the correct direction for this engine to actually fire. And we're going to do that, and then we're going to turn that off. There we go. Right. I'm now going to time warp this. I'm going to decouple this, time warp it, and then I will join you hopefully around the moon. Right, so we are coming in towards the moon right now, and you can see because we set our little spin up and we got a nice stable sort of lock on the node, we should actually be lining up to do this capture. Now the next question will be, do we actually have the delta V for this? That is the killer, isn't it? So we've got our little engine here. You'll notice the shroud that was around it, the other, oh hello, oh that's a lovely picture. The shroud that was round it has actually gone. That's just generally drift in time warp, I think, but it wouldn't be a problem for us if it had actually stayed. If we'd actually been able to keep it attached and not basically feed it electricity to keep its avionics running, that would have been fine. It would have been a dead weight to us, but it would have acted as a nice sort of platform for us to fire our engines from. So yeah, that's a nice little view, isn't it? The weirdest little spacecraft in the history of the space program. Yeah, we seem to be liking these donut designs. So let us warp in towards that node. I'm not entirely sure when we want to start firing. We've got quite a lot of delta V to fire off. I would imagine probably about a minute before would be good. Oh, hello. We're going in close to the moon. We're getting in close. There we go. So our periaps is 440. So did we actually get? We can't do a flyby because you can only now do one flyby in this program. Now, if we get this horribly wrong, we will at least get the impactor, but I'm aiming for this. So we need to be stable for 2 minutes, and we need to have that. It's that apoapsis below 5,000 kilometers that's actually going to be key for us. So we can go a little bit further. We can just continue going. I do like this is the persistent rotation aspect, sort of as part of built in now with RP-1, RO, RSS, and I really like it actually. It doesn't have the menu and stuff. It just sort of works. Whereas I was having a lot of problems with persistent rotation in the past, and yeah, this seems to be just a bit better. So we're not going to have signal. And I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem for us. That would be really annoying if this just doesn't work because we don't have signal. Because in my head, you'd have programmed this thing to go, okay, you can now fire your engine when you're, at this set of time from now. You set a timer, a little, even a mechanical timer would have been doable. Right, so there we are. Let us see. I think we're just gonna set it off in about 30 seconds. So what we're hoping is that this craft will hopefully have enough delta V to stop itself, but we will see. I don't know if a minute is going to be too much, too little. We're playing it by ear. If we end up with the right amount of delta V, but we end up going into the surface, then that's going to be our problem. Nobody else's. The important thing for us is to keep it above that 20, which is hopefully going to be okay, I think. So we'll just do that now. There we go. Right, yeah, we're using up delta V at a nice rate there actually. So that should be hopefully okay. What we'll do is we'll do a little bit of physical time warp just to get that going. Look at that firing out. It's like sort of just random, isn't it? I wonder if it actually puts in a little bit of random sort of thrust to one side or the other. That'd be quite interesting. So I believe we're now pretty much in an orbit. Yeah, we are in an orbit, and it's about bringing that orbit down, which is cool. So we are going to be there. We can actually just take this to normal speed now. So it will be interesting to see how close we can actually get. So yeah, what's our fuel reserves looking like? Oh, this could be tight. It's always tight, isn't it? It's always tight. Oh, come on. This is going to be. Oh, please tell me we're not going to miss it by like 3 meters or something. Oh, this is going to be so close, is it? We'll go until exhaustion, because we don't. Yeah, we've done it. We've got it right. Okay, so we just need to be stable in orbit now. We're going to run this as long as possible just to see how low we can get it, because I'd like it to be a little tighter, I think. Let's see. I don't think we're going to. Yeah, so we weren't ever going to get circular, but there we go. Done. Oh, superb. Right. Let's have a look. What have we got? What experiments do we have on board? We have our temperature scan. We'll have that. We've got mass spec, we could have that. We've got visible imaging, we'll have some of that. Telemetry, we'll have that, and that. So they're all going to fire off now. we have electric charge. We don't actually have signal though, because we're round the back. So what we need to do is just keep an eye on this. How long is this going to go? Oh, its electric charge is not going down. Why is its electric charge not going down? Is that because the experiments are not running? Or because we don't have signal? Oh no, it is going down. It is going down. It's just going down really slowly. That's interesting. So we have completed, I believe, that mission. Yep, there we go. So Lunar Orbiter is complete. And we have signal back to base. And now I'm guessing, yeah, the electric charge is going down now because we have radio signal. That's interesting. What are we looking at? We have an awful lot of science coming in, I think. Whether we'll be able to run all of this, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether we're considered in space, high space, low space, whatever that is. So let's have a look. Let's go to data. Mass spec is doing stuff. Here we are, right. Temperature is always a good one to know. So we're in space high at the moment. Okay, so they're all waiting at the moment, but we're currently, I think we're offloading data. Yeah, so we had all this data stored up and we're basically offloading it because we've got a backlog and we've got quite a bit of stuff to wait for, so that's not a problem. So if we just speed it up, how long? So we're going to be, let's have a look. Perhaps it's in 4 hours, so that's going to let us dump all the data and hopefully come around for a second pass. I'm hoping. Is it going to be able to? So at ApoApps, what's our... Yeah, we've got, because this probe, we've updated our avionics to the one where it's about 99% less electric charge. When we're not running these, when we're only transmitting, we're doing very weak signal transmissions, which is why we've got this backlog of data actually. If we actually look here, there's probably still, yeah, we finally got through it. So we're not really using much electricity at all at the moment. So we're going to come back to the periapse in 2 hours, or 3 hours. This actually might not get a... I could turn off the experiments. I mean, I could actually turn them off and it would probably save us time, but I think that's a little cheaty. Right, so let's have a look. We're in space high. Is it going to give me space low when we get... What height is space low around the moon? That's the interesting one for us. Now, obviously, if we were playing with Principia, we'd be all over the place right now because the moon's gravity is a bit freaky weird. It throws you off all over the place. Well, I'm not sure if it's modeling Principia, but in reality, you know, if you're at certain inclinations around the moon, you might look as though you're in a circular orbit. You are not. It's an absolute nightmare. Right. So where is space low around the moon? Let's have a look. Come on. Is it 100? Space low is about 125, something like that. Right. So are we gathering more sciences? Right, this is interesting. So we know that temperature scan is pretty much, so telemetry is off, so we can stop that. Pressure is off, we can stop that. Temperature is off, we can stop that. So I don't need to run them ever again. We're trying to maximize a bit of electricity here. So let's have a look. Visual imaging is, oh, that's biome specific. Ooh, nice. And then this one is space low, and that's going to be 1 hour of space load, so that's going to take a while to get that. So what we will do is we will leave this craft in orbit doing its things. But what I will do actually, however, and it's a little thing, where is it? Oh, I can't until we're actually clear. So let's accelerate time until we get out into the signal again. So I do not like getting warnings about battery, so we'll turn off battery and supply, but we want to keep the vessel. So this thing will keep going for... Ooh, let's have a look. How long is its actual life expectancy? Another 6 hours. So it's going to get another pass. It will get another pass, and we can actually get rid of that node. It will get another pass around the periapse. So we'll get a little bit more data. It's already given us 26, and it's still pumping it out there. So when it's coming through, it's actually transmitting a lot of data. So what have we got? We've got lowlands, highlands, Mare nectarinus. Is that like some sort of orange mare sea, the orange sea, and the Midlands. Is that the Midlands? Okay, so we've got bits of all of them, which is quite nice actually. So, right, from me, as we spin round the moon, which is in the dark, obviously would be, and we look back at Earth. From me, until next time, have a great one.